Welcome or welcome back. Today we are going from this to this. I love when we get to add the pretty pieces to our journal. Today we're adding the lace and the ruffles and the ribbon to our page edges. And yeah, I hope you'll join me. It's Carrie with Created Me Creative. Welcome back to my cozy little corner. So I have been at the sewing machine, just taking strips of fabric and sewing them into ruffles. I've done a zigzag stitch. I like the zigzag stitch because it gives you the flexibility just in case your strip's a little bit too short. And a couple of them are a little shorter. I did measure it up to the edge of the page, but we're gonna make it work. I've got it laid out here. I think in the order that I want. Each color here is going to be in the journal twice. And I'm just going to go in the order for consistency. I don't know why. I like it that way. You can haphazardly put it in and it's still going to be beautiful. It's really personal choice. I will also show you how we can do these because if you don't have a sewing machine, the ruffles by hand. It's not difficult. I completely understand if you have a love-hate with your sewing machine, or if you just don't have a sewing machine. So we'll work on that as well. I may do it with this ribbon because I'm thinking I may want it ruffled as well. So I will use the hand method with that one. So let me clear off my desk and we will get started adding these to the page edges. So I think what I've decided is the ruffles and lace and ribbon are going to go on these cardstock. It's heavy enough to handle that fabric and the glue. And because those papers are the longest, it will allow for the ruffles to stick out the edge of the book as well. So I think we will just start at the beginning and we'll just work our way through. Some of them are not going to be, like I said earlier, not going to be long enough. Like this one here, if I was just to lay it down, it's going to be a little bit shy. But because I've used that zigzag stitch, I can maneuver it into place. I will clip it as it's drying. And let me get my fabric glue. I use Fabri-Tac. You could use Beacon 3-in-1. I have heard that art glitter glue works fairly well on fabric. I just trying to pull some threads off the edges here. I just make sure I'm in a ventilated room with this Fabri-Tac. Just gonna grab some clips, use clothespins just to hold it in place when it's drying. And I hope the lighting is okay. It's kind of dark and dreary here in Ontario. Winter is here. And yeah, we're not getting any sun at all. It is cloudy. It's kind of windy too. I don't know if you can hear the wind. You'll have to let me know. Let me know what the weather is like in your area too. I would love to know if somebody is crafting along with me in the sun and the warm. So I will be there soon enough. My hubby and I are going away in January to celebrate our anniversary. So I will be in the warmth soon enough. I look forward to that. Okay, so I try and stick the sewn edge down. I find that if you use those threads in the glue, it does stick quite well that way. I am going to cut some of these strings off. I have my fabric scissors here. I don't mind the odd string hanging. I just don't like really long ones. I'm afraid that they'll get caught and pull and then just pull it right off the edge of the page. So I try and trim those down. I'm going to put my clip on the end there. straighten that out. I'm working sideways here, so I hope it's straight. Let me know if it's crooked. You can see it better than I can right now. So I think that is on there pretty good. Some of the glue, it's kind of seeping through a little bit. Don't mind that. It's gonna happen. It does dry. I'm just gonna wiggle that. And then once I have it straight, I'll close this. And so you're just gonna see some of those frayed edges. I like the frayed edges. Not everybody does, but they just add character. So that is the first one. How pretty is that? All right, I will leave the clips on there while we work with the next one. I'm just gonna go to the next piece of cardstock. We have to measure this one. This lace is vintage. I picked it up at an antique market. And I got a good chunk of it. I like the little holes in it. I could thread something through. Hold on one second. I wonder. Yeah, I'm going to try that and see what I think. I have a darning needle right here. See if I can feed that through there. Of course, it's not going to work nicely. This is just yarn. It's actually to make dishcloths, those scrubby ones for pots. But I like the color and I like the texture. And I'm gonna have to cut this. See if I can get it through. I might have to do it off camera and then come back. But I'll try one more time here. Got it. Okay, so let me cut off a piece that's going to be long enough. So right about there. And then we will just work in and out of the holes. I don't know if I like it, but you don't know unless you try. Just adds a little bit of extra color, texture, character. You could do this also with a thin piece of ribbon, would work really well through these little holes. I don't have thin ribbon in the right color, but I have done that before. I also do this when I'm adding paper that's got holes in it too, because it just, again, adds a little bit of color, a little bit of texture. Come on, work your way through. Do. What do you think? Yeah, I like that, just that little extra. I'm going to cut right there. Give myself a little bit of extra on each end until it's glued down, and then I can trim it up. That's fun. Okay, let's get this needle off. I'll have to go to the trouble of... Come on. Now it doesn't want to come out. Didn't want to go in, now it doesn't want to come out. Okay, yeah, that's pretty. I like that little extra bit of texture. All right, I'm gonna run a bead of glue. Down the edge of the page. Making sure I don't get it on the next page. And then we will just lay that down there. And put that over there. Make sure I'm still on camera. Okay. I think this is where I will use my, right under the edge. The fine tip of this is easier to get underneath the edge from the Barely Art Glue than from the Fabri-Tac. And the Fabri-Tac's already holding the good portion of it. I just want this edge to stay down. So hopefully that will work. Okay, and I'm gonna trim off that little piece there. Get rid of that. Pretty, pretty. Okay. And then we'll move on to the next one. And these are just fabrics that I've had in my stash. This one's actually a little long, which is fine, actually. I don't mind it long because I can trim it off and we can use it somewhere else. Just find I think I like the dark there. I'm going to trim this end off. So I'm going to glue it on first, and then we will we'll trim it off. Because then we can make sure we have it exactly the right length. And it's nice to have these decorative pieces along the edge. It just gives a little bit more, turn this way, a little bit more texture. I'm gonna try and fold that. I don't know if it will hold that way. Move it up. I just want to make sure that it's straight along the edge. Again, I'm feeling for that stitching to be close to the edge and into the glue. The glue will stick better on the stitching than it will just on the fabric itself. It just helps. And if you're only putting the glue on that stitching edge, you could very easily, let me grab something here, use this as a tuck spot. Once it's dried, you know, to be able to tuck something in for writing, a writing paper or something. So I'm gonna grab that paper, or no, it's not a paper clip, is it? It's a clothespin. Pop that on there to hold. I'm gonna come down to this end and trim this up. Right at the edge. And then we've got this tiny little piece. We could use it as a tab. We could add it to the top of a tag. We could make it into a cluster. We'll see. Because it's certainly going to go wherever we want it to. I'll just pop it in. I have a little dish on the left side of me here that gathers all my little pieces like that. So we're going to leave those clothespins on and move to the next piece, which is this pretty piece here. And the next thing I have will be the seam binding. I just picked this up at Walmart. I don't like the way that edge is stretched. I'm just gonna cut that off. Now this one here, I think I'm actually going to use the Barely Art, and I only say that because it's so thin that if we use that fabric tack, it's just gonna ooze right through anyway. So here's hoping that the Barely Art glue will hold the fabric. We'll know in a few minutes. I'm just gonna do the edges, not really in the middle. Try not to get it on the piece of cardstock that's below it. And again, I'm gonna turn you sideways. Hold that there like that. I don't know if there's a top or a bottom to this. It's hard to tell. I don't think it matters. So we're just gonna put that on there like that. Make sure it's at the edge of this piece, so I only have to trim it the one side. Come up nice and straight. Now this one won't pop off the edge. You won't be able to see it until you're actually on that piece of paper, because I'm putting it right on the edge of the cardstock rather than letting it come out like the Ruffles and lace that we've done so far. But it just adds another dimension on that piece of paper. I like that the blue is a shade darker than the cardstock blue, so it's still giving it some personality. I'm just gonna come along this side and make sure, yeah, we're good. Oh, just a little bit over on that side. And I think I'm gonna trim that if I can. Not really. I hope I'm on camera. There we go. Okay. So that is the lace and the fabric for signature 1. Take those off. Just gonna double check, make sure that that's doing well. And get rid of that clip too. Yeah. Look at that. So far, so good. Now into signature 2. And we will go back to a piece of fabric. This one here, it was actually a few pieces, and I just did a continual sew, joining them together. I don't know even if I can tell where I did it. Oh, there's one right there. I folded it in on itself, so you can't really tell where I've added the next piece. So this one, I am just going to fold it in half, and then fold in half. And then I will cut right there. And I'm not too worried about, like when you're typically sewing, you would go back and forth to kind of knot it. I don't get overly concerned about doing that with Ruffles because the glue is going on the stitching. So it is secure enough that it won't start unraveling. Man, this has got lots of threads hanging off of it. That one I'm gonna cut. Put that over there. I think I got another loose one here. There we go. All right. Now, the first one I had the folds coming down. The second one I had the folds coming down. So because I've stayed consistent with that, I am going to do it with this one as well. And actually, we're going to have a little hangover. So I will be able to cut that off. And again, we can use that in clusters, tops of tags. It just brings that cohesiveness throughout the journal too when you're doing that. Alrighty, a nice strip of Fabri-Tac. And we will stick that down. I love the colors in this piece of fabric. I purchased this fabric from a shop on Etsy. I will link her down below. She sells, she's from Ontario, and she sells fabric bundles. And some of the fabrics are absolutely gorgeous. This kit, I hope I'm not cutting my piece of paper. This kit came with this floral. It came with this gingham, that solid one that we used at the front. It was in that kit. I think there were 7 different fabrics. There were a couple of taupe colored ones as well that I've used in other projects. And they're just really pretty. Okay, that is good. Yipper, moving on to the next one. All right, so the next one here is this stripe. And I have this piece of vintage lace. I don't know if there's a top and bottom to this either. No, I don't. Why has it got to be so difficult? I think this is the top. There's more detail in the flower. So we are going to put it on this way. Can you hear that wind? We're supposed to get snow tonight. I'm taping this ahead of time. So right now for me, it is Wednesday. Yeah, it's supposed to be snowing tonight. You won't see this until Saturday. Now, oh my goodness, that wind. I have put a little too much Fabri-Tac on this, but I find that if you let it dry, you can usually rub it off. It will ball up. You just have to be careful that you don't knock your... And of course it balls up on my fingers. I did tell you back in one of the first videos that I tend to use too much glue and I wear it. Here we are. All right, I think that's pretty good. Just gonna make sure that that's staying where I want it to. There are a couple of little glue balls I'm gonna pull off here before it's too late. There we go. That's pretty. Oh, I really like that. Underneath that. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I am going to cut this even right there. We'll get rid of that. I'm actually going to toss that into my little dish over here on the side because I might be able to use that too. Woo! Throwing stuff around. All right. Now to the next one, which is going to be the gingham. And look at the color, like it's absolutely perfect with this. Strings. And this one, I did the same thing as the floral one. I just took a couple of strips and sewed them together. And so I'm just gonna cut this in half. Right there. And that's gonna go, oh, it's gonna be so pretty. I love the floral pattern on this paper too. Okay, here we go. Now this one might be just a smidge short, so I'm going to make sure that it's in the right spot. Glue strings. Just looking from the other side here. We want that. I don't like the stitching to show, so that's what I always flip it over to make sure that the stitching is on the paper, not past the paper. And now that that's in the right spot, even all the way across, I am going to put my clothespin on, and then we will pull this all the way down to make sure it comes to the edge down here too. It's not, you don't want to do it too much. Like if it's super short, you'll get buckle in the paper, but this was just like a smidge short. So that zigzag stitch allowed for that to lay perfectly. Okay, I'll let that dry. I think we're good. I thought I maybe had some glue on this paper, but I think we're good. All right. And now to this one. Now this one is where we're going to put the ribbon. And look at that. That is going to be so pretty. Oh my goodness, that is going to be so pretty. Okay, let me grab a needle and some thread, and I will be right back, and I will show you how you can do the ruffle by hand. The same process is what you would do for the fabric as well. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so I've threaded my needle. I have not taken the thread off the spool. It's still attached. And I have the ribbon here. And all you're going to do is find the center, and you're just going to wiggle in and out, back and forth. Trying to stay right in the middle. And see how you've got, I don't know if you can see that, the stitches. Oh my. You're just going to keep doing that. And I don't take it off the spool of thread so that I don't run out. That's the reason why. you don't want to run out of thread halfway through. So you just keep going. I'm going to fast forward through this until I get to the end, and then I'll show you what we do next. And once you have gotten, you probably need more than this, but once you've gotten it a certain amount, you're just basically going to gather it. And then you can fiddle it back and forth until you've got the gathers that you want. And obviously you're going to want it to be as long as your page. And then you're just going to glue it on like so. Let me see. I can do it from this end too if I can find my string. Here we go. So you just gather it like that. And then just kind of play with it until it's the way you want it to be. So I'm going to keep going until I have enough, because I do want it a little bit more than that. And then once it's done, I'll show you how I tie it off. Okay, so I grabbed my ruler because I know my pages are 9 inches long. And just to give me an idea of how close I am with this gathering. And it's really close, like I'm gonna finagle with this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this piece at the end, I'm gonna take it off, and I'm going to tie a good knot down here. Okay. Oh, I had a knot. Knot did not want to stay. All right, I've got a knot now. So that's there. And I'm going to pull the gathers down towards it. We're just going to kind of try and go evenly across here and see whether or not we need to put some more stitches in, or if we're good with, and you don't have to have it overly gathered. You can, you know, like have it a little flatter. It's just to have a little bit of movement in it. So I think I'm actually good with the amount of gather that's in there. So what I'm going to do is tie a knot at this end. Which will be a whole lot easier because I have it on the needle. If I can get it off my finger. I find it quite dark in my room. I don't think it's dark on the camera. And I can't turn my above light on because then I get glare and shadows. So I hope it's okay for you guys. One day I will upgrade and get myself a rim light and all that jazz. But for now, I'm just tying a few knots in this just to make sure. And again, then the glue will help as well. All right. I'm gonna trim that off. I can cut it later. And now I can trim the ribbon just past that knot. And again, we'll trim that up against the page when we need to. But for now, we can just move this around, get it all to lay flat. If you like it to be absolutely perfect, you can just play around with it until it's exactly the way you want. If you're okay with a little character and it not being so perfect, that's good too. It's kind of fun to have a little bit of imperfection, because honestly, there is no perfection in this world. You can get better at things, but you can't be perfect. Thank goodness, eh? It takes the pressure off. All right. I think that looks pretty good. It's not perfect. Doesn't need to be, but it looks good. So we're going to get the glue out. And again, the Fabri-Tac right on the edge. And we will start with one end. And move it up to the other end, and then you can just play around with it until you get it exactly the way you want it. Moving your little ruffles out here and there. This one might need some work to stay. If you're using, a velvet like I am, it's a little thicker. It's gonna move a little bit more. And it's gonna require some pins to stay in the right spot. Just gonna move it around a bit while I can. And then I'll take the pins from the one before. And this one's not sticking out past the edge too much. It is a little, but it's not as wide as the fabric ones. So I'm fine with that. It's, yeah. And look at that with this paper. Oh my goodness. Looks so good. Okay, we'll let that one dry. We're moving on to the third signature. A piece of the brown. Again, I'm going to keep those ruffles the same way. This one is a little shy short, so we have to give it a little bit of a stretch, but it's going to be fine. So it's not too short. It's just a smidge short. Let me move that back up so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, that works quite well. I'm going to come from the other side. I'm knocking over all of my ink. I keep my ink up here, and I'm knocking them over. Keep swinging the book into it. All right. Just going to grab a couple more clips because I don't want to take that off of the ribbon yet. So we'll just use these guys to hold the fabric. 1. And 2. And then the next one right here, we are going to use this vintage lace. And it looks like butterflies to me. Originally, I was going to just cut it straight down the middle and use half on one page and then at the back use another one. But because it looks like butterflies, I want to leave it and use the whole thing. Like, it's just so pretty. So pretty. So, and I will cut that off once we get it down. This one I'm just going to do a really tiny bead, and then I'm going to go in with, oops. All right, let me just see here. I'm going to trim it at the top of this butterfly, because I swear they're butterflies. Again, I can't tell if there's a front and a back. I think this is the front. So I'm just going to go in. If this is the back, this is the side that's going to go down on the paper. So I'm just going to get some Barely Art glue just on these edges that are going to be by the paper. Because this one I wouldn't be able to use as a tuck. I think it's just too delicate. We'll think about something on that because it's so dark. I can't write on it, so maybe we'll do a pocket or a page flip or something that allows for me to write. And I don't know if this is going to go all the way down or not. All right, hopefully that Fabri-Tac is still, all right, it is a little bit long. I'm going to keep the full butterfly at the top. And actually, bring that down just a smidge, and then I actually cut it one butterfly too much. So I'm going to take this off, and I am going to use that butterfly somewhere else. Okay, just going to go right on the edge. And again, I'm using the Barely Art just because it won't ooze and make the fabric all weird, or the lace all weird. The Fabri-Tac can not always play nicely with the lace, so we'll just do that. I'm going to take these clips here, and then once I get them over here, we're going to go back and take a look at that. Look at that, the velvet one. Looks great, eh? So now we're halfway through the book. The remaining of it is going to be exact same order all the way through the back. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I will come back and show you where we're at. Well, all of the beautiful edges are on now. You can see them layered up there. So pretty. We've run out of time for today. So on Thursday, we are going to work on starting to decorate some of these pages. I do want to make a snippet roll. So I have this, it's that, I said tablecloth the last time. It's actually a placemat, and the lace. And we're going to layer those two pieces up. And I'm hoping we can get 5 tabs out of it. It's fairly long. It's about 20 inches long, which we could do 5 tabs from, because they'd be each 4 inches tall. And we'll find a spot, one in each signature, to do that. I also have the cutoffs from those scrapbook papers. And I'm thinking of using those to create pockets, possibly tags. So we'll work on that as well. That's my goal for next week. So I hope that you will join me. I just want to thank everyone that has come along for this journey. Leave your comments below and we can chat back and forth. I'd love to hear what you're working on, if you've joined me in this venture of making yourself a journal. And yeah, I look forward to being back here on Thursday with you. And we'll see you soon. Thanks and take care. Bye-bye.